In about 5 minutes, the late film is Woody Allen's Take the Money and Run. Now on BBC1, the news headlines.
50 people are reported dead tonight after Israel bombed Palestinian targets around the Lebanese capital Beirut. The raids were in retaliation for the shooting last night of Israel's ambassador in London. He's still critically ill. For their part, Palestinian guerrillas have struck back by shelling Jewish settlements in northern Israel. Mrs. Thatcher, who's in France for the Western Economic Summit at Versailles, has had talks with President Reagan on the Falklands crisis. Afterwards, she said the United States remained firmly on Britain's side. And the American Secretary of State, Mr. Haig, has denied that there's United States pressure on Britain to hold back on military action. Argentine military authorities have reported isolated action on the Falkland Islands today. They say there's been artillery fire on British positions in the Mount Kent and Mount Challenger areas. And they say anti-aircraft fire repelled a British air attack on Port Stanley. And we've just received some new pictures from the Ministry of Defence here in London. An armoured vehicle is in firing position in the San Carlos area before moving further inland. Royal Marine Commandos are dug in to defensive positions guarding the beachhead, while other British soldiers set up a mortar position with local children looking on. And we've just heard that the government in Brazil have said they will hold the British Vulcan bomber forced to land at Rio de Janeiro yesterday. The authorities are studying an Argentine request to impound the plane under a mutual assistance treaty. Alfredo Astiz, the Argentine commander captured during the taking of South Georgia, will arrive in Britain tomorrow. Both France and Sweden want to question him over the alleged torture of their nationals in Argentina. But under the Geneva Convention, he can't be extradited to face such charges. British Rail have called off plans to close 2 engineering workshops and cut back a third. The cuts at Shildon, Bolton and Swindon would have meant the loss of 5,000 jobs, and the NUR had threatened industrial action if the closures went ahead. The Royal College of Nursing has rejected the government's 6% pay offer. The decision came as thousands of health workers staged a one-day strike. The nurses' leader will hold talks with the government next week. England won the second Prudential Trophy one-day cricket international against India at the Oval. The margin 114 runs. We'll be on the air if there's anything new to report on the Falklands crisis later. We'll be back at 9 o'clock on Channel 1 tomorrow morning. Now a look at the weather.
Tonight, the heavy thunderstorms scattered around the country will slowly die away. Tomorrow, many areas will start dry with hazy sunshine, except for some western areas where it'll be rather cloudy at first. Once again, though, it'll be a hot and humid day generally with some heavy thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon. The temperature will again reach up to 28 centigrade, that's 82 Fahrenheit.
All right, Virgil. Just what the hell do you want?
Starting this Saturday on BBC2, a major season of films starring Rod Steiger presents this versatile actor in some of his most powerful roles, from his award-winning performance in The Heat of the Night to the highly acclaimed Illustrated Man. And Illustrating the Man is the title of a colour feature in the new Radio Times. A great summer of sport starts this week on BBC television, including the World Show Jumping Championships. 4 years ago at Aachen, Britain won the team event. Radio Times examines their chances this year in Dublin, venue of some of the world's first ever jumping competitions. And the great summer of sport continues next Thursday at Lord's for the first test between England and India. There's a profile of each of the 16-strong touring party, including their captain, Sunil Gavaskar, who scored an unforgettable 221 during their last tour in 1979. And a colour feature looks back on that great Indian summer when a unique test double finally established a supreme position in English cricket for Ian Botham, who provides a striking cover to the new Radio Times.
And now to cross into the early hours of Saturday morning, the late film on BBC1 with Woody Allen as a rather, to say the least, inept criminal with the advice, take the money and run.
Now the regional weather with David Brooks.
Good afternoon. Over the weekend, a cool northerly airstream has become established over the British Isles, including our own region, the Anglia region. It certainly produced daytime temperatures below average for the middle part of June, and it looks as though it's going to stay with us for at least a further 24 hours. So afternoon temperatures much lower than they've been during the past week or so. Maxima inland around 16 centigrade, 61 Fahrenheit, but cooler on and near the coast, especially the North Norfolk coast. The northerly winds mostly moderate inland but fresh at times along coastal areas. The weather mostly bright with some sunny periods, but also likely to see one or two scattered showers developing as the afternoon goes on, more especially in the east and north of the region. For this evening and tonight, becoming fine and dry, long clear periods, especially inland, minimum temperatures somewhere down to 5 or 6 centigrade, the low 40s Fahrenheit, and just the outside chance that ground temperatures could fall below freezing for a very short time in the western parts of the region. Tomorrow, generally dry and bright with some sunshine, especially in the early part of the day, rather more cloud as the day goes on, and still on the cool side. But to see why, let's have a look at the morning chart. There it is, the 9 o'clock chart. There's low pressure away to the east of us and an area of high pressure stretching down through the British Isles. Here the chilly northerlies coming down the North Sea. The most unsettled weather in this depression is over here with some heavy showers. There's another depression down to the west of the British Isles, but that's going to run eastwards into the continent, leaving us in these cool northerlies. That's all for the moment. We'll be back at the slightly later time in about Anglia at 6:30 this evening.
Our address follows shortly, and it's in the Radio Times. See you next month.
You can write to us at Biteback, PO Box 2085, London W12 8XR. And please include your phone number. Or call us on the Biteback hotline, 081 749 9779.
There's a real danger now that the BBC as we know it will not survive.
Open Space. Programmes made by you.
I think the BBC may be past its peak.
The future of public service broadcasting.
All the old listeners like me have been thrown off the end of the sledge, and we don't like it.
Viewers and listeners campaign. Open Space tomorrow at 7:40 on BBC2.
Bandits, 10 o'clock!
It's your 24th mission. Your gunners trapped in the belly of a B-17.
Captain, we got a problem.
Your landing gears shattered.
I'm not gonna die in here. I got too much to live for.
You need a miracle. Kevin Costner stars in Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. Easter Day, 5:30 on BBC1.
The classic family story of the Railway Children can be found on BBC2 shortly in the acclaimed film version starring Sally Thompson and Jenny Agutter, the tale of 3 suburban children whose lives are changed when they're forced to move to Yorkshire and a nearby railway line becomes their playground. Here on One, we look back over today's charitable pavement pounding in London.
Viewers may be interested to know that the Ladybird Bible storybook, based on the series God's Story, is now available in bookshops at £4.95.
Now there's more adventure on Falcon Island with our 3 intrepid Australian children.
And the special relationship between rider and horse is demonstrated once again in Sports Night on BBC1, following the 9 o'clock news, with a report on the premier event of the year, the World Show Jumping Championships in Dublin. BBC Television's great summer of sport continues tomorrow at Lord's, with the first day's play in this summer's Test series when England seek revenge for India's victory in last winter's rubber.
Could be out here.
Coverage begins here on BBC2 at 10:55 for the first ball of the day's play, highlights of which can be seen at 11:30 in the evening. And in the afternoon, beginning at 1:35, coverage is shared with the fourth day's play from Queen's Club, London, where John McEnroe is seeking to repeat last year's success in this traditional pre-Wimbledon tournament. Top action from cricket and tennis tomorrow here on BBC2. Our next programme on 2 will carry subtitles on CFAX page 270. Wendy Craig and Geoffrey Palmer star in the comedy series by Carla Lane. Butterflies.
Hot off the press tomorrow on BBC2, a new weekly magazine with Toya.
Hello, dear heart.
There are cooking hints,
What am I to do?
disco news and things mechanical.
Here's a hint for those of you wheels. You're having a bit of trouble with a bit of tennis. Basically, all you have to do is you wear like that. You see?
Fashion news. And career opportunities.
If you think a worthwhile career in catering would suit you, and you know which side your bread's buttered on, find out more about this exciting job opportunity.
B.A. Robertson drops in each week. There's the Good Chip Guide. And Super Advice Person is on hand.
Now, I'm here.
Issue 1 of Dear Heart comes out tomorrow at 6:50 on BBC2.
So watch it.
Headache, tiredness, nervous tension. Take Everett. We could make it worse, as BBC1 brings you the first in a new series.
And now, this!